Welcome back to the Budget Gamer channel. Today, because it is the holiday season, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of you have some eShop coins burning a hole in your digital pockets, we're going to be taking a look at a list of the top 15 indie games that you can get right now on the eShop for $2.99 or less. Number 1 on the list, and certainly not the least, but definitely the cheapest, is Membrane. Membrane itself is a physics puzzler, and if you've never played one before, it might be a little more frustration than you're ready for, because gravity, inertia, and general physics laws are going to be the only tools at your disposal to solve every single puzzle in the game. There are no solutions, which means anything you can come up with is the right way to tackle a puzzle. And for only 19 cents, you can work your way through a puzzle-laden world of the human body and challenge the limits of your own ingenuity through every single level. Coming up at number 2 is Goetia. This is a point-and-click adventure where instead of playing as your typical protagonist coming in to try and solve a mystery, you're actually playing as a recently resurrected spirit of a girl who died decades ago who's now trying to solve the mystery of what happened to her family and the entire village that she grew up in. And while the game might be a little bit light on character development, its story is rich and deep, and it's definitely going to hook you in all the way to the end. And for only 99 cents, it definitely offers a lot of gameplay if you are the point-and-click adventure or story-driven kind of gamer. Number 3 on the list is a straight-up puzzle game. Not a brain buster, offers a challenge through a diversity of levels that are basically built around word logic. The whole game consists of manipulating a cube that'll have a certain command or not command on the face. Whether it asks you to turn up, turn down, turn left, turn down for what, or to turn to the green side or not turn to the green side, it'll challenge your brain through a very short timer to be able to comprehend and execute each of the game's commands. And as simple as the game definitely is, it is incredibly difficult. And for 99 cents, if you are that kind of more casual puzzle game fan, it's probably something you're going to want to keep on your radar. Next up on the list is Kamiko, which is a sort of Zelda-like clone based around Shinto beliefs, and playing as a priestess, it'll be your job to work your way through several different level areas in order to unlock certain gates to eventually make it to your way to challenge the final boss. And as we would expect of a typical Zelda-like, there are going to be a few different weapons of choice, random spawning enemies, and bosses with certain attack patterns that you'll have to exploit in order to make your way through. Overall, I couldn't say it's a very long game, but for $1.99, it's definitely worth it. But if you're not really a fan of puzzle games, point-and-clicks, or Zelda-like adventures, BioLab WARS is also on a pretty killer sale right now and offers some pretty fast-paced arcade-style action. Divided up over 7 different gaming levels, you'll have to platform and blast your way to each level-end boss to prevent the world-crushing chaos that even the world's strongest militaries have yet to stifle. And for only $1.99, it's pretty difficult to pass up the opportunity to blow enemies away as a bioengineered Labrador. And as yet another completely different gaming genre, Lost in Harmony is also making its way to this list. As you can probably tell from the title, Lost in Harmony is a rhythm game, but it has 2 congruent storylines, one as a robot enjoying his newfound appreciation for music, and one where you play as an angst-ridden teen working his way through some pretty difficult problems. But whether you choose to rollerblade or skateboard your way through this game, it's going to be hard not to get locked into its passionate music and its passionate story. So even if you're not a rhythm game fan, for only $1.99, it might be worth it to dip your toes in. Up next we have Ambition of the Slimes, and Ambition of the Slimes, just as it sounds, is a pretty goofy game, but it's got some pretty darn solid tactics. More or less, the community of slimes is kind of fed up with being the butt of every RPG joke and has decided to take it upon themselves to take back their lost land. And making use of their newfound ability to possess human hosts, you'll be able to use a myriad of different slime types and elemental combination system, as well as some pretty solid enemy AI to make it to your way to the end of this goofy tactics game. Moving away from the $1.99 and down titles, we come to the Count Lucanor. And if you haven't heard of the Count Lucanor yet, imagine a coming-of-age story drawn in the style of Pan's Labyrinth. You'll play as the young boy Hans, who's pretty much fed up with his lowly peasant lifestyle and has gone to the Count's manor to seek out his fortune. And confronting nightmares more than fantasies, he'll discover what life's really about in this pretty gripping tale. So if you are a fan of story-driven survival-type adventures, $2.29 is definitely a solid price tag for this kind of game. Moving on to another story-driven game, some might even call a walking sim, is Opus: The Day We Found Earth. More or less, humanity's been pushed to its brink, and it's down to the efforts of one small AI to try to rediscover Earth and where it's located so that humanity can try and revive its gene pool. And this story of love and loss and growing relationships housed within the shell of a space exploration game is completely worth the $2.49 price tag. Back into the point-and-click and puzzling genre styles though, we have Stray Cat Doors. Stray Cat Doors was a mobile port over, and I know a lot of people kind of hate on those a lot, but this one's really cute, adorable, and actually has some pretty good puzzles that take a lot of thinking. It's casual, it has soft visuals and soft music, and it's something that anyone can just sit down and relax with. It doesn't really go too deep into any sort of backstory, but you may passively learn some details about the characters involved. And for $2.49, if that is your gaming style, it's probably worth it to check it out. Moving on to some bigger and a little bit more well-known titles, though, we have Bastion coming up next on the list. If you haven't heard of Bastion yet, it is a game that everyone should play. One, because of the price, and two, just because of the quality. It's a somewhat open-world adventure game with real-time combat and surprisingly some pretty professional real-time narration. Gorgeous graphics welcome you into a fully rendered 3D world, while voice actors narrate your story with every turn of the tale. And as beautiful and rich as Bastion's scenery and soundtrack are, the gameplay is just as rich, so for $2.99, it's totally a title that any adventure gamer should have on their list. GhoulBoy, though, comes in next at a similar price tag as a platforming action-adventure game. While most platformers will have you jumping around to try and slay random mobs and make it to the end of each level, GhoulBoy makes use of a game mechanic that isn't often taken advantage of, and that is the spear-throwing mechanic to create your own platforms. It definitely takes some getting used to, and while the levels themselves are challenging enough, this adds a whole new challenge dynamic to the game. So if you're ready for some pretty perilous platforming, GhoulBoy gives you everything you could probably ask for only $2.99. Moving back into the point-and-click genre though, for our point-and-click fans, we have White Knight. White Knight is done in a completely film noir style, where you play as a gravelly voiced detective working their way through a murder mystery. Not only that, the game is 100% monochromatic. Everything is rendered completely in black or in white, and gives the whole game that gritty detective novel feel. Moving back to the light-hearted gaming though, Lich Spear Double Spear Edition is an arcade classic style spear throwing game where you'll pretty much just move level through level trying to hurl your spears as fast and as accurately as possible to take on minions as they rush towards you. And whether it's killer fish, hipster zombies, or techno giants, everything you kill is going to rack up liched points that you can spend to upgrade your weapons. And while it is a fast-paced yet still somehow casual arcade game, it's probably more well-suited to short bouts of gaming, but for $2.99 it's definitely worth the price and you will be coming back for more. And now that we've covered the top 15 indie games that you can get right now on the eShop for under $3, it's time to shout out a couple games that are just some solid deals. One of those is Starlink and the other is World of Final Fantasy Maxima. Both of these games generally range between $50 to $60 and are on sale right now for $19.99 each. So if you're an FF fan or an old school Star Fox gamer, these are titles that even if you aren't really a AAA title gamer, they might be worth the buy. I do own them both and I've beaten them both, and I gotta say, if you're remotely interested, a price tag sub $20 makes it totally worth it. But anyway, that wraps up the list of the top 15 eShop games right now for under $3, as well as the couple bonus special deals. So I hope that you all found it helpful, and if you did, feel free to throw me a comment or a like to show your support, and don't forget to click that little bell icon when you subscribe to stay updated with the latest content. There are thousands of indie games out there, and new and unique ones are coming out every day, and they're always going on sales. There's always going to be some new game to find out about right here. But anyway, this has been The Budget Gamer, so as always, Merry Christmas.